Okay, so something pretty significant just happened regarding India's borders. We're talking about a huge expansion of military infrastructure right up against China. Now, this is all about beefing up national security for sure. But, and this is a big but, it comes with a really steep environmental price tag. It's forcing a tough choice.
And that really gets to the core of what we're talking about today, right? It's this massive question. What happens when your most strategic border, your first line of defense, is also one of your most precious, most fragile natural habitats? Do you have to pick one over the other? Security? Or sanctuary? Is there even a middle ground?
All right, so to really get why this decision was made, you first have to understand just how high the stakes are. We're talking about the India-China border here. This isn't just any old boundary line. It's a place that demands, well, an absolutely top-tier level of military readiness.
So, what's been happening? Well, over the last few years, China's military, the PLA, has been getting a lot more, let's say, assertive along this border. In India's response, they've basically decided that boosting their own strategic readiness isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. Nope, it's an absolute necessity.
So what does enhancing readiness actually look like on the ground? Well, it's pretty straightforward. We're talking about new construction, a ton of new infrastructure, and a much bigger military footprint in the whole region.
And to give you a sense of the scale here, it's pretty massive. Just in the Ladakh region, which is incredibly strategic by the way, a whopping 12 major defense projects just got the green light. 12.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. And look, we are not talking about a few small upgrades here. This is the real deal. It includes a brand new training facility, ammo storage depots, a full-on brigade headquarters, and, this is a big one, new border outposts for the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, right near the super-sensitive Daespong Plains.
Okay, but this is where the plot really thickens. Because the exact land that's been picked for all these critical defense projects, well, it just so happens to be home to some of the most unique and incredibly fragile ecosystems on the entire planet.
I mean, just look at this. It lays out the central conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got all these new military installations, and on the other, the Changthang and Karakoram Wildlife Sanctuaries. And here's the kicker. These aren't two separate things. The projects are being built inside the sanctuaries. We're not talking about empty land here. This is prime habitat for amazing, rare animals like the snow leopard and the Tibetan wild ass. So yeah, this isn't a close call. It's a direct, head-on collision of interests.
And you might be thinking, okay, so this is a Ladakh thing. But nope. This isn't just happening in one isolated spot. We're seeing the exact same strategy and the exact same tough environmental choice playing out in other parts of India's border as well. Take this for example. It's a perfect case study. Over in the state of Arunachal Pradesh in the northeast, they're building this big 158-meter bridge. And why? To help troops and supplies move around more easily. Makes sense. But where are they building it? You guessed it, smack dab in the middle of the Eaglenest Wildlife Sanctuary. This place is world famous, a major hotspot for biodiversity, especially rare birds.
So you've got this classic standoff, right? National security is pushing hard for these projects, while conservationists are, understandably, sounding the alarm. Someone had to make the final call. The decision had to come from the very top.
And that someone is the National Board for Wildlife, or the NBWL. You can think of them as the Supreme Court for wildlife issues in India. Their whole job, really, is to look at situations just like this and try to find that tricky balance between protecting the environment and allowing for crucial things like national security and development.
So what did they decide? Well, the board's verdict was pretty clear. They gave the green light. They recommended approving the projects. So as you can see here, the stuff in Ladakh, that bridge in Arunachal, all the extra camps and outposts, they all got the go-ahead. The reason given? The urgent need for operational preparedness and strategic readiness.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. What's the bigger picture here? Because this isn't just about a few bridges and buildings. This is about setting a major precedent. A blueprint, really, for how a country like India is going to manage its borders in the modern age.
And here's the really crucial takeaway from the official side of things. They're not framing this as a choice of security versus the environment. No, they're framing it as security and the environment. The official line is that this is a necessary balancing act. They're saying, look, national security has to come first, but we are acknowledging the ecological impact and we believe we can manage it.
But you know, what's happening in India really sparks a much bigger question for just about every country out there. As geopolitical tensions keep ratcheting up, are we going to see more of this?
Will the world's last untouched wild places become our new front lines? Could this be the new playbook for how nations secure their borders? It's a huge question, and honestly, the answer is still very much up in the air.